for this month's meeting, we'll be going over Dia's program launching in Netherlands, and then I have just a really short update on the contract for the coordinator for the volunteer driver plan. I only have limited detail on that since Angel handled the whole side with legal and she's at a conference this week, but I do have at least numbers to give you for that. So to kick things off, I guess I'll hand it over to you, Zoe, and any updates on VIA or anything that we need to work through. The floor is yours.
Definitely, thanks. So status quo remains in terms of hiring a local driver. We haven't found anyone local yet. We're still looking for sure. There is an option. We have enough drivers in Boulder that I know that's less than desirable, but I'm just putting it out there to let you know we could have a non-local person come and drive in the peak-to-peak region. The other thing is I'm hearing talk, and I can't promise anything, but I'm hearing talk that our 5311, that's our rural FTA funding, it might be another for 2022, that 100% match without a requirement for 50% local match, right? So I can't promise anything. I'm not the decision maker on that, but we've been talking about it, and we're all hoping, even our friends at CDOT are hoping to influence and get that 100% match next year. So that would help a lot in terms of resources. So I'll let you know for sure, probably next month, I would guess. And that is all the updates that I have on this side. Any questions for me?
I have two things, three things, maybe four. A person applied for the VIA job who I would recommend. He doesn't currently live here, but he has a place here to live. And I know him. And so if his application hasn't been looked at, because I believe he used his Netherlands address, but I think that he would be somebody that to look at, even just to get us started. He's a great kid. But
oh, that's great. What is his name? Do you mind?
His name is Sky Stapleton.
Fabulous. Thanks. I'll follow up with the HR manager.
He did it a couple of days ago, but I can recommend him as somebody who wants to live in Netherlands and has a place in Netherlands for the next year and would be a really good driver. So has driving experience, not passenger, but driving experience. And he's wants to live in the mountains. So anyway, and then we've been looking ahead to that possible match. And we're having meetings with Boulder County. We have a meeting with Boulder County Commissioner Marta Lochaman. I'm not sure how to say her name.
You nailed it. That was right.
Yeah, I've heard it so many ways. On Monday with the Peak to Peak community, you guys probably have seen those little emails where I messed up the time like 3 times. It's 10 to noon on Monday, and if anybody can hop in on those, and that would be great, because we'd like to see some of that ARPA money up here for the transportation and the internet and all the things that, creeped up in COVID that made it obvious things that could help up here. And then Netherlands also has short-term rental fees that go to a human services fund. And so we do have those. They're not a lot, but we do have money there to help do matches or gas cards or the administrator or things like that. Where they're slated to be direct assistance, but if we can help, if any of that money can help in some of these matches, which may not be an issue, that would be great.
Great.
I've heard that, I've had like 3 people that I've approached about that driver job, and unfortunately, the people who would be good at it are also working because they're good employees, and so they're treated well, so they're not really looking for another job. And I'm like, come on, you'd be great. So so there is interest, and I do know that people see the posting and are reading it. So we may want to look at HR. And again, Boulder people would be fine if we just need to get it going. So
Yeah, well, I'll definitely follow our HR manager. Her name is Brittany Birch. So I'm going to follow up with her on Sky. I haven't checked in with her since like last week. So
yeah,
that's great.
Been after that, so cool.
And remind me again, Zoe, once a driver is hired, what's the timeline for starting?
Yes, training takes between 6 and 8 weeks, and then they can get on the road.
So I would love to look at the Boulder option while we train somebody, especially if we have somebody that looks like they're coming on, because then we could start. We could get, we could get going, hopefully.
Right.
And then if the guy's trained, he can jump in as the local person.
I like that idea.
Although our senior stuff, we went back to, we're not doing in person, which is sad.
Is that your lunches?
Yeah. But we're doing deliveries, and I know they're having a hard time finding people to deliver. So I'd put the lunches on the van. I would use it.
Yeah. We're doing that with Sister Carmen and some other agencies as well. So yeah, that definitely we can do delivery.
And we're going to have booster shot clinics and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be, if we could get someone to help up here, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Katrina. If we have the capacity to send someone now, then I'll see about getting that going. And then, whether it's Sky or whoever is hired local, that would be great to then switch to them. Absolutely, that makes sense.
Especially if you end up hiring him, because then we know we have it and we can start going, especially if, depending on what's happening with the admin, I don't want anyone sitting here without calls to go on or buses to send out, so it would be great if we could kind of get this to maybe hit at the same time.
Yeah.
Stars aligned? I don't know. And that's
absolutely.
It.
Thanks, Katrina.
How's things over in Gilpin?
Well, things are okay. I have one driver and several volunteers. We have our drivers do everything, including deliver Meals on Wheels, take people to doctor's appointments. She's out taking 3 socially distanced people to the grocery store this morning. And so we are staying busy, and we want to hire another driver / senior aide, but we don't pay as much as you do. It's 15 something an hour, and but we've got great benefits. But that's something that I continually beg, borrow, push for paying people more. And I was on the Board of County Commissioners meeting the other day in regards to they're trying to get a summit company to come in and do cooking for the jail and for the senior program. So if that happens, then we'll be able to get our Meals on Wheels out of the Justice Center jail, and hopefully, knock on wood, be able to start up some sort of meal program. Right now we are doing a bring your own lunch luncheon, and we're doing some transportation to that, but we have to be very careful with the socially distance and the size of vans and all of that sort of thing. So you know, we're inching along. We're doing more than we were doing last year at this time. So I'm grateful for that. But if you know of anybody else that wants a job,
I pointed him to Gilpin website because you guys are hiring a lot, and
right.
But, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zoe, if we have somebody doing this, if he's not doing anything, you know, he could jump over to Gilpin and maybe do some stuff too, or we could hook
Absolutely.
through, you know, the coordinator hopefully can work with people like fill in, whatever. And, yeah.
So does that mean that if if our schedule is full and I have someone call and say, I need a ride to the doctor, I can send them to you and you can either look and see if there's an option or, and then go from there?
I think we need to coordinate and work together on that. I
Okay.
mean, especially if the doctor's a Boulder doctor, then that's a slam dunk. If it's the Golden direction, then it's a little different, you know, maybe in timing and it would take a little longer. But definitely if it's a Boulder direction,
It kind of depends on where they live too, because
right, yeah.
People that live like in the apartments above Central City go see Dr. Camerata. And then when Dr. Camerata decides to send them to a specialist, he sends them to somebody in Boulder.
Right.
So we're driving from above Central City all the way across the peak to peak down to Boulder. And I have asked Janet in Dr. Camerata's office if they live way south, can we coordinate with sending them somewhere south, because that's an extra half hour or more each way in the transportation. So I get what you're saying.
And maybe we could do, I know the ambulance often in Netherland drives down and meets a Boulder ambulance to transfer, so that so maybe we can coordinate, and if you're going to come down the peak to peak, we could pick up from Netherland and take them down, you know.
Right.
That'd be a question that I'll send to Angel as well, because with the coordinating position being funded through Boulder County, there may be slightly more jurisdictional boundaries from that position standpoint than from VIA. So they may, depending on how that, and I don't know how the money side of it works, but that may be needed to have like a meeting spot that's in Boulder County.
Right. And Boulder County needs to understand that Dr. Camerata is the only doctor on the peak to peak. And that's one of the biggest needs in terms of transportation. But hopefully the administrator then, if we're doing the volunteer driver, would know of drivers who could do it. You know, we would,
for sure.
It would just be part of their job. If they couldn't do it, be able to refer them to somebody who could.
Yep.
I mean, I think that's the big thing here. So
I agree with that.
Definitely. Yeah, I would need to get in our director of operations, Lisa Bitzer, because I don't know. I'm looking at the map and I have no idea. I know currently we do have service in Jefferson County, including into the more rural areas. We cannot spend all of the money that we have to spend. And this is another 100% funded. So I'm just putting that out there because I don't know how close Gilpin County is to Jeffco. Oh, hey, I was just saying.
I'm so sorry. I had someone at the door and I'm the only one here in the office.
That's so fine. Mary, I was just saying, I don't know how close or if this is helpful, but we have service in Jefferson County, including rural into the mountains, and we have more funding than we will ever be able to spend by the time it expires. So I don't know if that helps or what that means, but I see on the map it's kind of close, so I just put that out there.
You need to give me more information of what that means for Gilpin. What kind of service are you talking about? Are you talking about medical transportation? And if I were to, let's say someone called me and said they needed transportation from mid-Gilpin or any part in Gilpin, can I have them call whatever number you're going to give me so that I can, see if that can happen?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't at the way it's currently structured, and we can look into changing this, but the way it's currently set up is we can accept trip requests within Jefferson County. So if your clients could get into Jeffco somewhere, it doesn't have to be a residence, it could be anywhere, and we can take them to any destination they want within our service area. That could be medical, visiting a family member, any sort of trip purpose that is unlimited.
Wow.
So it's kind of sad because Gilpin's one of the most rural counties, and who could really use this money and grant. And I also want to point out that Gilpin and Jefferson County supports Gilpin County's public health department, so they are connected through that. So there's already a pretty strong partnership between Jefferson and Gilpin County for public health and
workforce.
Yeah.
And there's,
well, I'll ask, the reason why we have this limitation is because it's written into our federal contract that this funding is just Jefferson County, and we have been talking to feds, to CDOT, to see, hey, there's no way we're going to spend this. Can we please use the money in the areas around us where it needs to be? And because it's in the contract, they're unwavering. Sorry, I feel like you're hearing anger in my voice because it's very frustrating.
I understand that, because we also have those kinds of boundaries that we have to follow as well.
But maybe we could work with Jefferson County, and maybe because Jefferson County can use the money, maybe they can decide how to use, what I mean? Again, if that's what they're serving, maybe you could get some help from Jefferson County on navigating that,
Just an FYI, in the past, Jefferson County we've had many challenges in the Coal Creek Mountain area to get any kind of services up into Jefferson County mountain communities. In fact, we have delivered Meals on Wheels to seniors in Jefferson County, a kind of an in-kind thing, because of the fact that Jefferson County, we don't go in the mountains. We don't go in the mountains. We don't go in the mountains, and that's something a wall I've hit many, many times. And so I don't know if what you're talking about via going into the mountains. I don't know if they do or not. I don't,
We do. We've had challenges with sometimes we hire people who are not local to the mountains, and that there's all sorts of challenges. They don't know the roads, yada yada yada. Yeah, we've had challenges with that in the past, and I've only been here 3 years. So I definitely only have a narrow perspective on that. It's something we're interested in. We definitely understand that there's a need, and I guess we need help getting and expanding into that. I'm talking more personally now. Like, it's very clear that the need to move around is just a human thing, and it doesn't change whether you live in, Central City or Boulder. You need to get around. So anyway, I'm committed to helping any way I can.
So just a little, and just a little history and geography on that. Coal Creek Canyon is it Gilpin and Boulder and Jefferson?
Yes.
And it's this weird little Jefferson pokes in there.
There's a lot of Jefferson County, though, in Coal Creek.
Yeah.
Boulder, Gilpin is limited, but I'm sorry.
And then they used to have an RTD stop in Wonderview, and that went away, and which was really sad. So, because I know it was not used a lot. They could have put a smaller something up there, but they just ended that years ago, but yeah. So we also go into all three of those counties and deliver down into Coal Creek where we can. And there is an organization in Coal Creek called Canyon Cares that does some great work in Coal Creek Canyon. So.
And Gilpin, they help people
And
in Gilpin County.
and Netherland, yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So cool.
If there's any other Gilpin updates or VIA things, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, it has determined that there's a contract to not exceed $9,999. So clearly, $10,000 is $1 too much, but $9,999 for a volunteer driver coordinator position through the Ned Food Pantry. That's all the details I have for you because that Angel was working with legal on that, but there is a contract now, so we can start moving forward with that. So if you have any questions, I'll write them down and I'll send them over to Angel because she'll be back on Monday.
My only question would be, does that involve a computer or any any office? Since it's part-time, it might not, and then we might want to supplement that person depending on what their what they would need to have. So
Okay.
And
will ask that.
is your driver part-time, and how many hours, and are there benefits?
It is part-time. I know that. I don't know the exact number of hours, and I would presume there's not benefits, but I will double check on all three of those.
And he's talking about the coordinator for the
coordinator.
volunteer driver position, not the driver.
Okay.
The VIA driver, we were looking at one full-time or two part-time, depending on what we got or
Okay.
could get. And I believe, Zoe, that did include benefits.
Yes.
Got it. But the coordinator position is part-time.
Correct. And
Got it. I'm with you.
judging, and I would say with pretty good confidence that there's not benefits, but I'll double check.
Yeah.
So that's the update I have on that. So I don't have more details to share on that, but we are able to move forward with that. So that's exciting.
So we'll work on a job description or something then.
I'm sure Angel and I will start working on that. So,
Perfect.
and we'll, I'm sure, send out many iterations to you all for review as that moves forward. So
Cool.
that's everything I have on our agenda. I'm going to stop the recording. I don't know if anyone has any